Hi, welcome to this segment of Digital Discoveries. And this segment I'm so excited about because we've never actually done anything like this before on Digital Discoveries. And so you're the first. We're actually going to take an iPad, a typical iPad 2, it's got to have a camera on it, and we're going to turn it into a digital microscope. And so remember how we always say in Digital Discoveries how you should be reading other people's blogs, other teachers' blogs, education blogs. And this is a great example of this. We got this idea from a gentleman named Holt Davidson. He's one of the Digital Education Network teachers. And on his blog, he actually had a video on how to use an iPad and create a microscope out of it. And so why would you want to do this? Well, because first of all, it's very inexpensive. You can actually do this for under $10, and you will actually have a digital microscope in your classroom. And you can have multiple digital microscopes in your classroom. Now, they're not powerful. They're not going to be like 90 or 100x. You can probably get a pretty good one for 45x or 60x. That's the ones we were found. And let me show you what they look like. So in order to do this, you're going to need an iPad. So you're going to need just a regular iPad. It's got to be an iPad too. It's got to be an iPad that's got a camera on it. So we're going to talk about that in a second. The other thing you're going to need is that you're going to have to order one of these little bad boys, and that is that's what's called a jeweler's microscope. A jeweler's microscope is used by jewelers to look at stuff, of course. But here's what's really neat about them. Here's the if you get it in the mail, that's what it'll look like. They're made in China, but they're very, very inexpensive. They're all plastic. But what's really neat about them is that they're only about $2 or $3. So the most expensive one I saw on Amazon.com was about $6. So this one is a 45X. It's got the microscope. It has a focusing ring, and even better, even more exciting, it's even got a built-in light. So you can actually see it's got a little LED light built into it. So you're going to need the microscope, you're going to need your iPad, you're going to need a little bit of super glue in order to get it done, and you're going to need something that most teachers may not know about, but they're called rubber grommets. And the rubber grommet is very important because you're actually going to be gluing the rubber grommet onto your iPad, and we're going to show you how to do that. But here's what a rubber grommet looks like. It looks like that, and they're used in plumbing. And so you can get them at any one of the stores, like hardware stores, and they're very, very expensive. I think I got 2 of them here, and they were like 76 cents. So you're going to need the microscope, which is about $3 or $4. You're going to need a little bit of super glue, very little bit of super glue. Super glue dries very quickly, and you don't need a lot of it. And you're going to need some rubber grommets. And of course, you're going to need an iPad to do it. So let's put one together. Let's see how you do it. So I'm going to zoom out here a little bit so we have a little better view of it. What you need to do is you need to first locate the camera on your iPad. So your camera is in the upper left-hand corner if the iPad is laying flat against the table. It's this little thing right there in the upper left-hand corner. It's very close to the on and off switch. Now you have to be very, very careful when you're using the super glue because you don't want the super glue to get into where the the on-off switch is, because what you'll do is you'll glue the on-off switch, and you don't want that to happen. So let's put it together. It's pretty easy to do. First thing you're going to need to do is get your grommet, and we're going to test to make sure that our super glue is open. So I'm going to open up my super glue here. I'm going to open it up a little bit. Yes, it's going. Now you're not going to put super glue all the way around. You only want to put super glue on about half of the grommet. You only want to put it on about half of the grommet, and it doesn't matter what side. They're both exactly the same. So we're going to put super glue on about half of the grommet, maybe a little bit more than half, but not much more. And you don't want to put a ton of super glue. I know that in the world of Elmer's glue, you want to put a lot, but in super glue, it's very, very quickly drying. And so then what you want to do is you want to turn it over, and you want to center it right where the camera is. So you want to try to get it as centered as possible right there. and you want to press down just a little bit, and we're going to let that dry. And when we come back, we're going to see how it works. So hang on just a few seconds. We're going to let it dry. We're going to come back. We're going to test to see how our microscope works. Now, something that you may, if you go a little crazy with the crazy glue, something that you may want to have on the side is some fingernail polish remover, because fingernail polish remover dissolves super glue. So if you're not real sure about using super glue, you're worried about gluing your fingers together, then go ahead and have a little nail polish remover on the side. Now, once our grommet is attached to our iPad, and let me tell you, this is a permanent thing. Once you put your iPad, once you glue it on, you've glued it on. Then you want to take the microscope that you have and just push it into the grommet. It'll take a little nudging. You don't want to force it, but it takes a little bit to get in there, but it fits properly. And once it's in, it's very tight. It's a tight fit. And so let's see what it looks like. Let's go ahead and see what it looks like. I'm going to look at a couple of things. For instance, I'm going to look at a $20 bill. I've got a $20 bill right here, and I'm going to just zoom in on part of my $20 bill. And you should notice, and this is right at the doorway to the White House there. Let's see. There's the doorway to the White House. When you notice on your iPad, when you turn it on to camera mode, you're going to see this circle. And that's because that's the camera looking through the microscope. Don't worry, because now you can zoom in and you can move that around. And so you can actually see the back. I want to actually show you something really cool. There's these little 20s on the $20 bill. This is just to show you that you do get some pretty good magnification with this. So if you're looking at leaf petals or bug parts or anything like that, here's Andrew Jackson. Let's look at his eyeball. That's Andrew Jackson's eyeball on the $20 bill. So that's a pretty good thing. Now what you can do is, once it's there, you can take a picture of it. So that's a great shot of Andrew Jackson's eye on the $20 bill, and just to show you that this is just some really, there's the seal of the U.S., there's the eagle, just to give you an idea. And then you can take that picture. Again, you just hit the camera button, you take the picture, and then it's done. Now, you can actually take video, but the video is a little bit different. You can't zoom in and out using the video camera on the iPad. So if you switch it over to video, you're going to get that picture, and you can't zoom in and out, but you can still record video with it. So you get some magnification, and this is actually kind of cool. If you've got some pond samples, if you got little bugs and things like that, the kids can actually make movies, and they're kind of strange looking movies, but that's okay. If you go into a movie editing program like iMovie or something like that, then you're able to actually edit that out. You can crop it, just to let you know. So this is actually a really cool invention. It's something I just show you here real quick. Here's what the cloth on my sweater looks like. Kids will go crazy looking at things like that, and then you can do all kinds of science. There's my skin with my hair. I think there's the tabletop. You can see that it's not really wood, it's really just printed wood. They can actually see the printing on the wood itself. So I want to take a picture of it. I just hit picture. Now I've got a picture of it. So that's an easy, quick way to make an iPad into a 45x or 65x, 60x microscope. You're going to need the jeweler's microscope, which costs about $3 or $4 off of something like Amazon.com. You're going to need these rubber grommets. They cost about 70 cents, and you're going to need super glue. That's about $1. So for under $10, you've got yourself a digital microscope that you can use in your class. Thanks for joining me this time. Thanks to Hal Davidson for giving me the idea for this. And excuse me, it's Hal Davidson for giving me the idea for this. And we'll see you next time on Digital Discoveries.